Welcome to Self Perfected.
Go.
Oh,
Hello.
nice.
Do you think
Hello.
that's a AI? You know that voice on Zoom that goes recording in progress? Do you think it was a real woman at one point in time telling
No.
that to the microphone? It
No.
was straight digital.
100%.
What
You
what
can
about
tell.
that TikTok? What about that TikTok voice?
I asked my brother if he could.
No, not that one. I'm saying like the one where it's like narrating. It's like you're walking through the Grand Canyon at sunset, and it's like the POV shot.
Yeah, that
I
one
think that
is.
it is
That
apparently a real
Person
person.
have a drink.
No, that's not a real person. Why would that
Oh,
be a
it's-
real
Obviously,
person?
I'm just kidding about that one. But I thought the
I
Zoom
thought it
one
was. I thought it was a real person.
What?
I thought that's why it has to process because they send like a text message to her.
They sent a text message to her.
And then she's like read
Hey,
it.
can you
record it,
read
and
this
send
real quick?
Like,
And she's like, walking through the Grand Canyon, like.
Okay. No. This was my real question to open up the podcast. Okay, this idea of an open loop, right? Some people know this word, some people don't, but it's good to have in your brick wall. Okay, open loop. It's this idea of like, if I were to say like, hey guys, here's something really important, and then I jump to something else, you feel like, fuck, what was he gonna say? Or you're just like, oh, that guy's crazy. But open loops carries across context of life. One example of an open loop is when you start a book, right? Like, let's say you were reading Fall, for example, and you didn't finish it,
Hmm.
right?
This is a
One.
hot example.
Very hypothetical.
Yeah.
One, you must be doing something either better than that, or you're just distracting yourself. But an open loop, sorry, my lighting's fucked up. I opened all the windows today because it's going to be 70 for the first time in a long time.
This is an example of an open loop. So Mitch is telling us about it.
Exactly, right? Okay. And someone told me, I don't know if this is true, but some marketer told me this, and he was like kind of more the dark side of marketing, right? Like the dark arts. And he goes, yeah, when you create an open loop, and you don't close it, it creates a mini trauma in the person. And so like you like use it. And I don't know what he meant by that. This is years ago, but I was like, interesting. So sometimes marketers will
So
do
you
that.
go around opening all these open loops, and eventually
Yeah.
you channel enough of traumatic energy to like bring Beelzebub forth into this dimension.
Exactly. And
That's
and so the classic thing, right? If you stay to the end of this video, I'm gonna give you the secret tip to, whatever. Either way, you got some open loops through starting books. For example, I have like 20 books in this room right now that I have started. And but I made peace with it now. I actually like had to look at that point because it was starting to drive me crazy. I've been doing this for years. All right. I'm very self-reflective. And so I like start all these books, and then I'm like, on some level, I'm like, I want to finish that book, but then I kind of made peace with like, oh no, it's trying to finish the book is actually missing the point. Like you should just look at what's best in the moment. But am out of us here, am I the only person who even has these thoughts, or like
hold on. Now I get it. This makes a lot of sense now.
this is why I haven't finished all?
You're on the second page of Fall because you're like,
Okay.
the
Hold
point
on,
is not
though.
to finish the book. It's
There's-
just
okay.
to read 2 pages.
There's like levels to this shit. One is if you're like a total noob at understanding yourself and you're just kind of like fucked with your processing, you'll just be like some broke person where you like start all these businesses and then you don't succeed. You like start all these books and then you don't do anything. I think we all can have an example of what that is like. But then there's another level where you can let go of the idea of open loop, closed loop, and you're more just like, oh, I have a cool library of books I'm always going to be working through. I have all these projects that I'm making progress on. And it in certain contexts, it makes sense to bring it to closure. Like Cameron was just showing us his gardening system. If you were halfway done with that, it would probably drive you crazy. Or I mean, you probably just wouldn't let that happen. But you see how it's like a theme in our lives of it's like you start something and you bring it to completion, right? How do y'all assess that though when it's cool shit you're wanting to learn?
Mitch, did you know that Bill Gates finishes all the books he starts?
How do you give me a fucking
It's
check
a
on
rule
that.
that he has.
He
It's a
also
rule that he
finishes
has.
all the marriages he starts.
Well,
Greg, are you just making this shit up? How do you know this?
no. That's like one of his rules is like if I start a book, I have to finish it. That's
But
a,
what does that mean to finish it? Does it just mean like skim it and then read the last paragraph?
I think he reads the whole thing. He also reads really
Every
fast.
fucking line? Well, see, there's levels to this shit. If you can read
Yeah.
it,
You can make
10,000
rules for yourself, or you can just in the moment be like, okay, did I get something out of this book? Am I interested in continuing to read it? Like, what are you like? The book has power over you or something? Like, oh, it's like a magical spell or something. I mean,
Yes.
Right.
like I've picked up books where I read some of it and I'm like, okay, or I just start reading something else or whatever. But it just depends. Like, do I want to finish a book? Like, I've read 80% of probably like 10 Philip K. Dick novels. Because at a certain point, you're just like, what's even happening anymore? Like, now I'm not, it's like someone's telling you about a dream and then like they don't remember all of it. And then you're like, okay, please.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite dreams.
Here's the bigger point is, do you have principles? People can finish everything they start and have no principles. So like, what's the purpose of what they're doing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
It-
really
it-
that.
It reminds me of that training. I don't know how much of the gin material you went through, but the stuff on like agreements. And when you make an agreement and you complete the agreement and like follow through with it or not. But I see how all of it is obviously it's all fucked if you'd have no principle in it. Because yeah, you could be like, I'm gonna agree to whatever, do some stupid shit, right? But
Well,
there
yeah,
is-
like when you agreed to it, did you understand what you were agreeing to and why you were doing it? I mean, that doesn't mean you should have an excuse to just go around breaking your agreements with people. But if you're like, well, I agreed to work for this employer for the next 40 years, so I'm just going to do it. And it's like, yeah, like, what's the agreement? I agreed to, uh, I agreed to work for the mafia for like I told him I'd kill Sammy, so I gotta I'm a man of my word, like what? We have honor. I saw this article. It said there was a priest and this mafia member like poisoned the chalice for the priest, when he was drinking the whatever, because the priest was like speaking out against organized crime in the um sermon or whatever.
damn, damn.
So mafia people go to church because they're moral, and then they will kill the priest if the priest says the wrong thing. Like, so why are they even going to church? Like, what is the actual purpose here? None of it's consistent.
Yeah. They're like,
Yeah.
I have a really, really religious background. Okay. Right. My grandmother, she went to this church, right? My mother, she went to this church. I go to this church. But you're making it very hard for me to
Yeah.
continue going to this church.
I'm also watching The Godfather, but I'm only halfway through.
Jesus made an agreement, right?
It sounds like too everyone has seen this Godfather movie. There's all these references to it. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna watch this. So I started it, but then it was like pretty late, and I was like, this is fucked. I should not be watching this at like this hour of the night.
Christine has
So wait.
notes.
So you didn't finish it?
Well, I'm in the process of finishing it.
So that's a no. He
Talking
didn't
about-
finish it. This is exactly what we're talking about.
But okay. But what's interesting because the pre the pre-process version of me, like before I found this group and found like principles, it's like that kind of thing I would actually allow that to like fuck with me. I'd be like, no, I have to like get it completed, whatever. Because I was like, it's like some OCD fucking tendency. And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying this because I know people in the fucking community have this. You might not even be aware of it, but like there's so many people, for example, where you share this idea of like a book, or I'll share the idea of like, oh, I'm reading like 20 different books right now. I'm like, what? I'm just trying to finish How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm like, that's stupid.
Right.
So it's like this higher level of looking at your reality and being a creator, saying, okay, I'm going to pull from what's here and then direct myself. But the real thing now that I see makes sense to have a sense of completeness with is your self-trust. Like to never let that break. Or if that breaks, that's a moment of falling. And then you just go, oh, okay, broke my self-trust. Well, what happened there? Do the self-forgiveness and then get back into that alignment. That's the real one that actually matters. and everything else is kind of,
Well, yeah. The bigger picture is, are you doing all this based on feelings? It's like, well, I don't have a feeling of not having completed something, and therefore that's why I'm going to finish it. That's not principles. That's just I have a feeling about something. So, or you're like, no, it would be best for me to finish this because of this reason.
Mhm.
See what I mean? Because it makes sense, because it's supporting me to do X, Y, or Z.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, and with people new in the community though, they don't really have that sense developed at all. They don't have common sense.
right? Like,
So it's like,
why should you follow through on your DIP? Why should you follow through on listening to an EQuaff series? Does that mean you have to start one and you can't listen to anything else until you finish the whole series? No. Like, if you apply that, like, why should you finish the audio though that you're listening to? Because there's context and so forth, right? But if you're watching a Netflix movie and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to finish this, should you force yourself to watch the whole thing? I mean, it's all based on,
I need to watch all
you know what I
seasons
mean? It's
of
like if
Game
you
of
make a
Thrones.
rule, huh?
I need to watch all seasons of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I think I've watched maybe 3 episodes of that.
Yeah, I started watching it till that dude started like beating that I don't even know. There was one scene where that one dude who's like a piece of shit starts like whipping that other person. I was like, I'm not gonna fucking watch this shit.
I didn't watch it. The only episodes
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah,
have
makes
been
sense.
at like other people's houses years ago. That they
Back
were
in the
like,
day.
"Oh, new Game of Thrones," and I'd be like, "Okay." They're like, "We got to watch it." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. But there are some things though, like the blogs, right? That's pretty cool because I've finished Heaven's Journey and Creation's Journey, but well, I'm still working through because there's some more of the Creation's Journey blogs, so I'm still reading those. But then I restarted the whole thing. That shit is cool. Re-going through that now, I'm like, wow, this is remarkable.
Drake and I
Hmm.
were talking about this cool point. Remember the other day about, I don't think we talked about this last week on a podcast, but this point of like reading, what was it we were talking about? Had to do with like I was bringing up the blogs, like critical thinking.
Oh yeah. Because we were just talking about like, um, okay, yeah. We were talking about reading, but just reflecting on what you read because we were talking about how, um, what were we talking about before that though? Because we were talking about something
Remember you brought up
specific.
your wish is your command. But I
Yeah,
don't know
but
if
that was in
this.
the context of like being able to actually consider what you read because um Kevin says in that like you read and then you reflect on what you read. Like this is how the elite
You should
read,
think
right?
about what you read,
Yeah,
right?
think about what you read. Exactly. And I would always try to do that. And I would always be like, what the hell? Like I'm thinking about it. Okay, I read this thing. I'm thinking about it. Like I don't get the point of it. Like it seems pretty, I don't know. I just read it. So
Is
what am
this
I thinking about?
pre-TT or post-TT?
This is pre-TT,
Yeah.
pre-TT, right? Where I would read and I'd be like, okay, why is this one of the books that are recommended? Like I didn't get it. It didn't make sense. And like I'm trying to reflect on it. I'm like, the guy, like there's a book up there, How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success Through Selling, right? And like I'm like, the guy played baseball. Who gives a shit? Like, what am I reflecting on? Right. And then after using TT for several months, I started reading, and then I'm reading, I'm like, naturally putting the book down while I'm reading it, I'm putting it down and going, wow, this is fucking amazing. Like that means this is because of that. Okay, yeah, I see how I can apply this. Like it just like it happened automatically. It wasn't something that I was like trying to. Now let me reflect. It was more just happening naturally, from the starting point of I could actually understand what I was reading. And it made all these connections within that. I forget what we were talking about before that led to that conversation, but that's basically what we were saying.
Oh, it was that learned helplessness video.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Did you watch that, Mitch?
Well,
No.
just the comment that
I know the
Cam had
concept.
made, the comment that you made, Cam, was basically how people will, like this woman was saying that on social media, she'll post something, she'll say the title of the book or whatever, and then people will go in the comments and be like, "Oh, what was that book that you were talking about?" And she's like, "It's
Or
literally."
like who's the author of that? Or yeah, what's the book? What book are you talking about? And it's
Yeah.
like, literally in the title of the video or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like people are so used to, like, they won't even go Google it, is the crazy thing. They won't even go Google it. You know, they're like, oh, somebody will give me the answer.
Mhm.
And it's like you can't actually think for yourself anymore. And that is, we're seeing that happen with kids more and more and more. I'll give you also a good example how this is not just something that's happening because of technology, or not just because of kids being at school. This is happening at home, the way that you discipline your children as well. Because I remember when I was a kid, something really simple like washing the dishes, right? My mom would um, come and inspect the dishes after I washed them. You
Oh,
know,
that sounds horrible.
oh my gosh, as a little kid, and of course I did a terrible job. We cooked with a lot of oils in my house, and
Did you
it
like have
was
to stand at attention and she like comes through and like puts a glove on and starts like swiping everything and like
no. What happened is I'd
it's
wash the
like got a
dishes really quickly.
clipboard.
There's like a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
I'd I'd wash the dishes really quickly, and then I'd be off like doing something else, and my mom would like call my name, and like come over here, and I'm like,
Did
oh
she refer
boy,
to you by your full name?
no, never. But but in black households, you don't have to do that really. There's just a certain tone that
I
you're
was gonna
like,
say it sounds like a tone,
Like
yeah.
what, B flat? Are they just like
yeah, that's it, that's
The fuck,
it.
dude?
So anyway, but she would call me over, and then she'd be like, these dishes are not clean. And I'd be like, uh, I cleaned them. She's like, no, this is not clean. Like, look at how there's all this oil here, there's this spot here, there's this. And she'd make me clean them again. And um, she once said this phrase, and I don't know how many times she said this, but at one point she said this phrase of like, it's like you won't do it unless there's someone standing over you. Like you, if there's no one, watching you, you don't do it right, right? And that
yeah, it's
stuck
like
with
you don't
me.
understand that I don't want to do this.
Right, right, right.
What
But
is not what are you not understanding about this?
okay, but playing, devil's advocate or whatever, from the perspective of a parent who's frustrated,
Sure.
who doesn't have this process, right? I can see how a lot of parents would just say, like, out of frustration, like, man, it's like you're not even gonna do it unless I'm standing over you or whatever. And like, yeah, of course, I don't want to fucking do it,
Like,
obviously,
correct.
right? Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, it never gets explained. And then it just
But
turns into this point of frustration.
look at what the program is for the child then. The program for that child is, oh, I can't do things right unless somebody else is like standing over me. Unless, somebody else is supervising me. I'm just not going to do it on my own. I'm just not that kind of person who's going to make sure it's done right, or whatever. And then you're like constantly looking for somebody else's approval of, okay, did I do it right? Or even, because the thing that I would do is I would just be like, I don't really fucking want to do it. And so I know I'm half-assing it, you know? But I like, nobody's here to like tell me to do it right. So fuck it. Right. And imagine going through adulthood with that, and you're trying to like better your life and all this shit. But meanwhile, you've got this program running within you where you're like, yeah, but I don't
Or
do
like
things right unless somebody else
20,000,
is.
it's like 20,000 variations of that program
Of
too,
course.
you
Of
know?
course. And
Half-assed life.
what's really interesting? I saw this clip of Michael Jackson. We've been trying to get Mitchell to listen to more Michael Jackson because
Yeah, I heard of this guy.
he's uncultured, and we were like, come on, Mitchell, Michael Jackson. He's never heard any
Which
of his songs.
version, okay? The black version or the white version? I'm still like,
Honestly, I could tell you on my hand, I could count on my fingers how many Michael Jackson songs I like.
Wow, that is unfortunate for you.
It's kind of like the
Anyway,
Beatles. Like if it's on the radio,
wow, I'm so sorry for you.
like
Anyway, so
name your favorite Michael Jackson song.
my favorite, I can't. I'm sorry. There's too
Name two
many.
favorites.
beat
There's
it.
too many good Michael Jackson
Name a
songs.
few.
I cannot name one favorite.
Name some songs that you like.
I'll I'll name some songs that I like.
Go ahead.
So Rock With You. It's a
Don't
really
like
great
it.
song. That's too bad for you.
Next.
Heal the World.
Don't like it.
Oh, that's really too bad for you.
Wow,
Next
Cameron,
one.
you asshole. You don't want to heal the world.
Next one.
Did
Beat
you not
it.
watch that Super Bowl performance? Wow.
Billie Jean,
You're
Nope.
missing out.
I don't like it.
Thriller.
I don't like it.
Man.
Oh, fuck, I'm out of songs.
Man in the Mirror.
I like it.
Off the Wall.
I don't know about that one. I don't know which one that is.
Drake's just trying to flex now that he's like, I like Michael Jackson.
I like They Don't Care About Us or whatever that song's called.
That's just because it's anti-Semitic.
I like Scream.
Okay,
I like
all right. That's a
I
good
like
one.
I like Man in the
Does he-
Mirror,
Does he
Behind the
scream in song?
Mask, which most people probably haven't heard. But it's not even his original song. And Stranger in Moscow, I like that one.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, you like the B-roll tracks. I think
Yeah.
that's the B/C roll tracks. It's like
Wow. Yeah.
Mitchell's like,
I
I
don't
don't know
understand.
any of these titles.
I got programmed from a young age that Michael Jackson was this pedophile who molested kids at Disney, Fairy Tale Ranch or whatever it's called, Neverland Ranch. And then I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this?
Maybe, I don't know.
Make context.
You're supposed to put all that aside and then just enjoy the music.
This is like Drake with the
it's not a
dishes.
hard concept to.
It's like Drake, okay, we understand as a kid, but now it's like, well, here, okay. Like, actually, I thought Michael Jackson was like a fucking pedophile or something. So like actually have programs of like, oh, this guy's
You know what's so interesting about that is okay. It was I don't know. Like I don't know because I wasn't there. It's just all stories that I've heard, right? So I've heard a bunch of stories through the media that's obviously very heavily propagandized. Like you can see the approach. Like you can see that does that mean it's false? No. But you can see how when media says something, you know what I mean? When it's obviously coming from the system. Okay. So I've heard a lot of that. And then I've heard a lot more recently of like, oh, that was all just manufactured. It was all for money. And I see that. And my common sense tells me, without knowing all the facts, just from the stories that I've heard, that it's all bullshit. But at the same time, the guy was fucking like, what seems to me is that he was a person who actually cared, but was also heavily programmed and also very heavily abused. And so he was also very weird.
Yeah.
So that's my common sense. That's my intuition about it, let's say, right? Does that mean but that's just based on literally stories, which that could be his fucking propaganda of like, I care about the children. Like, I don't know if it's real or not. Like, so I'm just telling you based on stories. These are all characters. I don't even know if it's real, any of it. But my intuition is based on all that information. That's probably a bunch of bullshit. And yeah, he probably did spend a lot of time with kids, but it's like I like playing with kids. Like if kids, maybe not so much anymore as I've gotten older because I have kids now. But when I was younger, I liked playing with kids. Like if it was like family party or family reunion, I'd be like playing with the kids, jumping around, doing games and reading and stuff like that. Like, so maybe for him, it was a much more emotional thing. That's my intuition about the whole thing,
Well, and it just goes to show too, like before you find this process and these tools where you can actually reason it for yourself, it's like you just get inundated with shit from the system all the time, and then you don't even realize it's in there. So like I was probably in what, 8th grade, I think, because I remember when Michael Jackson died. I remember hearing it on the radio. It was probably like early high school or something. I just remember being like, oh, okay. And I just never thought twice about it till Drake just won't shut up about Michael Jackson. And I'm like, God damn, I have to look at this point now. So
an open loop.
But think of how many things are like that though, where you just got inundated as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Didn't even think
Well, hold on, but my point about bringing that up was, so I'm not supposed to trust my intuition on that. And when I say intuition, I just mean like I'm putting it all together. I don't know the facts. I just can see some information and I'm like, okay, kind of weighing the things, right? I mean, what about like COVID, Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, all these points, And I was listening to this thing with Glenn Greenwald talking about I can't remember what it was, but they were talking about Israel and all this stuff. And it was so interesting. Oh, that's what it was. They were saying he was going through all the information. There was this New York Times thing that came out about all these like women who were being like the Israeli hostages, women who were being like raped and stuff. And it was like this whole propaganda story that turned out to be like based on nothing, just based on like someone wanting to write the story for propaganda. Right. And, he brought up that point of like all these conflicts are always based on something fabricated. Like he's like, okay, there was atrocious things that happened on October 6th. Even based
Yeah.
on just like, you know, what you've seen, you don't know what's real or not, but yeah, okay, seemed like some fucked up stuff happened, right? But then they had to embellish it even further, like babies were beheaded, women were raped, and all this stuff. And then when they start actually unpacking all of it, it's like, actually, none of that stuff happened. So why did they have to lie? It's because they wanted to justify all the stuff that they were about to do later. So you would keep turning a blind eye and be like, well, they're animals, they rape people, they killed babies, so who cares what happens to them at this point? And I mean, the what happened after the fact is going on for a lot longer than what happened on that day.
Yeah, right.
I mean, like the stuff that's being justified with it, right? Same thing like what's happening with Trump, the stuff that they're justifying with January 6th or whatever it was. They're all the stuff with Trump, with his followers, all that stuff. It's like, well, it doesn't matter because they were all terrible insurrectionists and all this stuff, right? But he brought up this point about like Vietnam War, Gulf of Tonkin. Like it's now well known it was totally fabricated.
Yeah, right.
Iraq War, weapons of mass destruction. Even
Like,
you know when you start looking into Pearl Harbor, like they
yeah,
knew it was going to happen. Like the Japanese even said they were going to come, and like they wanted it. You know what I mean? It was like, well, we can justify all this. So I was like, why? It's such an interesting point of like you want to go to war, so then you have to make something up to get people to go into it because otherwise nobody would because it doesn't make any fucking sense. So, but you're not allowed to trust yourself on any of those points. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's
You
interesting
know
because
about Michael Jackson.
yeah. Oh, but yeah. It's so
I mean, it's
interesting.
like a fucking conspiracy theory. Like, where's the actual proof or evidence? You know what I mean? Of like, he did all those things. Like, yeah, I was inundated with a bunch of propaganda. And so it feels like he did those things,
Yeah.
you know? But then when you go over here and you look at all these wars and stuff, all of that was made up. You can see it like it's been exposed. It was made up.
Yeah.
Right.
You knew.
And then to future pace as well, like with our community and where things are headed, right? Us stepping up more, getting into politics, like really becoming a worldwide movement to anticipate, okay, there will be pushback. How much pushback? Just be like to be ready for it, right? If this was a giant like chess game, it's like, okay, you see how the opponent, let's say, well, it's really us, right? I don't like the whole us versus them thing. Like it's us. We're collectively allowing this. So to look ahead as well, it's like on one hand, it's really like in the same way how your ego will sabotage you, revenge of the ego. You can almost see it coming. You're like, okay, I know at this point this kind of thing is going to happen, so you can be ready for it to stand. But also as you then go out, like for the members of this community, where for example, you're doing your clubhouses, you're going out, you're like sharing this with people, or you're going to the events, you can start to, like Cameron was talking about, that intuition of seeing what you think is going to happen. But you got to realize, especially at the beginning, your intuition's so fucked. You're like, oh, I'm going to try and share this with people and everyone's going to want to join. I'm going to share this with people and no one's going to want to join. It's like, realistically, it's somewhere in the middle. But the best thing you can do is go out there every single day. And it's so fascinating because your mind is this projection machine. And if you're not careful with it, you will fucking project yourself into just like a stupor, basically. Like you're just stuck. But when you can use that effectively, you can start to see, you can like actually use your mind effectively to future pace. And it's one of the coolest things, but it's like this is also why on the podcast we talk so much about like these past things and how in the current events, because you have to be able to have that worldview and that context, because where we are headed, for those of you who are serious about this, it's like getting into more positions of responsibility. You have to know the enemy, so to speak, you know?
You know, while you guys, well, Cam was talking about like the Gulf of Tonkin, it made me think of like um how we talked about this, I think, on the last podcast about the NFL and somebody asking in Chat GPT or whatever about like, you know, why is the NFL not listed as sports, but it's listed as entertainment? And it, Jess had shared that in the chat as well of how like because it's listed as entertainment, they can predetermine the outcome very much like the WWE, right? Which is pretty funny, right? But that's also what our wars are. That's literally what they are. It's just like, oh, like, you know, when you look at it, actually, you might think, okay, the Gulf of Tonkin okay, yeah, we know that the US government lied about that to get us into the Vietnam War or whatever way back when. But they wouldn't do that again, would they? Right? And like, okay, so you think they stopped doing that? And that wasn't even the first one. Let's be like frank about it.
This probably goes back for
Like
thousands and thousands
we,
of
we
years.
know they were doing that at Pearl Harbor. You know, we know they were.
Let me ask you guys a question. Just based on if you put yourself in the shoes of a kid who's in high school, or yeah, high school, probably middle school, high school, and you said, what's the cause of World War One? And let's say they remembered what they were taught,
Franz Ferdinand.
right?
Yeah,
That's how I
okay.
was taught.
That's it. The whole fucking thing was
Was
because
so-
of this Franz
Well,
Ferdinand guy. Like, who is
There was
that?
tension. There was tension, and then Franz Ferdinand was the straw that broke the
It's
camel's
like,
back.
nope, now we're gonna start fucking digging trenches and gassing and killing like 20 million people or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
what?
This whole
Like, that's it?
onslaught.
Like, that doesn't seem like fabricated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
it's when you look at it, you're like, okay, but now we have like technology and we got like media so that everybody can see, right? Everybody can see when they're lying. And so we would catch them if they were actually lying. It's like, no, it's like the NFL where they will pull out all the fucking stops, or the WWE, they will pull out all the stops and their whole thing is like, hey, yeah, you say this. Okay, and don't let anybody else say that. You run that company. Okay, great. So make sure that nobody on your platform is allowed to say this. You just shut them down immediately. And we're just gonna like raise these voices that like seem like authorities, and it's gonna be like a fucking entertainment palace where you're completely surrounded by it on all sides, and you're just like, oh yeah, I root for the guys who you said to root for. Woo!
Hey, what are the odds that Kelsey Travis guy who got the $10 million or whatever from Pfizer to promote the vaccine,
Yeah.
and then is the boyfriend of Taylor Swift, who's like the big name right now, who they're obviously hyping up, all of that, and then he also went to the Super Bowl, and she, like, what is that?
He's
Was
the fucking hero.
That was
He's
just
the
all
hero.
a coincidence. It's amazing. Such a crazy coincidence. No way any of that is like on purpose and scripted to like fucking manipulate people in a massive way.
I think that should, if anything,
I think
be
if
a
you get the
story.
vaccine, you're gonna win the Super Bowl. Is kind of
Exactly.
how
That's a story of triumph. Like, if you just listen to Pfizer,
it's like us triumphing
You'll
over
win.
COVID. Yeah,
yeah, you always win.
People
if
got
you-
more mad about, isn't it Travis Kelsey, right?
yeah.
They got more mad about him screaming at his coach than they did about Fauci screaming at you to take the fucking vaccine.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know.
I mean that just shows the state of the world. So okay, here's then the question. With all this context, right? And knowing that okay, this is a machine that's just spitting out more propaganda every fucking day, every hour, really. For the people in the group that are taking this on, like, I mean, I could share from my personal experience what I have seen to be effective to like keep leveling up to put myself in the best position so we can change the system. But what do we all see here is like that next point as this group of like taking responsibility to change the system. Because if we're not careful, it's just a giant propaganda machine, and it's like it's like a lot of people are still sitting on the sidelines. Reminds me of like some like how do I phrase it? Oh shit, Jess is walking in. Oh, open loop. When you can hear yourself on the mic, you know.
Oh yeah.
Fucking feedback loop. Oh, this talk about an open loop. Jesus Christ. This,
Like,
Listen. Let me close my loop.
we'll take it from here.
Let me close my loop on the Michael Jackson. Hey, Jess. what's
hey,
up?
just attracted to this too. I don't know, some pancake.
Oh, nice.
Aristotle, you want to join the party, buddy?
Just pass that through the camera here.
Yeah,
Okay.
that looked really.
No, I want to get the point out before I forget it. It reminds me of like, oh god damn, just press the fucking headphone now. I've got music playing. Got Dead Mouse going in the
We're
background.
watching a mental breakdown in real time, guys.
It breakdown to breakthrough.
I watch the stability, even in this moment of
Even now we got Aristotle here, right? It reminds me of like, okay, the other weekend I was at this water park, right? It reminds me of someone who's like trying to go on this like water ride or whatever, but they're like on the fence and like, I don't know if I want to go. I don't know if I want to go. And then finally they just commit to it and fucking like jump in. Like there was a wave pool and there's all these different things where it's like, if you half-ass it, you're going to sit on the side. Or also if you half-ass jumping in, you're just going to get fucked. Like you're gonna get face full of water, all that. That's how I see a lot of like in this process, you start to take it on and it's like, oh shit, this is intense. And then you're on the side though. But at a certain point you make the commitment and then you dive in. That's how I see collectively as a group a lot of the, let's say, especially newer people in self-perfected are. I want to fucking be that push for them to fucking go in the deep end. So
Yeah, well, the
Yeah.
point is to take the process seriously and then also to support other people to do it. And then you become a point of support for them when they're walking through all the initial stuff. It's like imagine you have a mentor, who you want to learn to paint and they know how to paint and you can ask them questions and so forth and they can kind of guide you on like, well, here's what I did and so forth, right? So if you're walking these points and then you're like, well, I'm bored, I don't know what else I can do. It's like that's why you should find other people, take that responsibility of supporting more people to come and understand these points because that's the only way it grows. There's no like, well, you just get a certain amount of people and then you're done and then everything changes. Hey, bud. All right. Um, did we finish that point about the learned helplessness?
No, I didn't finish any of my points.
We have so many open loops.
Yeah. Because of Mitchell. Mitchell's like, I want to make a podcast about open loops today.
the starting point is the end point.
No, let me finish this point about like the Michael Jackson, right?
Oh,
So what was interesting about this clip was Michael Jackson was saying, okay, you know how Katie shared with us the litany against fear,
Mm.
right? And I went to look up the word litany, right? Because I didn't know what it was. I was, God, what this means, right? But it's like generally used in a religious context of like, petitions or complaints against, this thing, but it's repetitious, right? And I was just looking at that point, and Michael Jackson in this clip was saying, what's actually happening in music is you have an artist saying some words, and then those words become like a mantra within the heads of or the minds of whoever is singing along with this song. So now you have all these people and like they just repeat it over and over and over and over and over again to themselves until it becomes unconscious essentially, right? And now you have a whole crowd of people who they've got this collectively in their consciousness. This is what Michael Jackson was saying, right? And I just found that super fascinating because like he's the superstar, he knows what's happening. Like I'm at
he's
least
aware of what he's doing. Yeah.
exactly, right? And you know, it okay, if you think about who is behind the music that gets put on the radio today, the music that gets put on the radio today is not the best music. By far, it's not the best. Like just even objectively, not like the best for you, but like, oh, I really enjoy this music. Like, oh wow, yeah, this really great artistic value in here. It's not the best from that standpoint either. It's literally just like, oh, we can market the crap out of this. Like, here's Sexy Red or
Yeah, Drake, I want to say something about that because
Yeah.
here locally we have this radio.
kind of hard to hear you.
channel
You're like far from the mic.
So here locally we have this channel that plays only classical music.
Oh, nice.
And even then, they specifically choose music
Right.
that before it plays, they can give a little snippet or background about either the song itself or the composer or whatever, where it's like they can angle why they want to play this song, what's cool about this song, or like maybe for an hour they're only playing Black composer music or whatever, where it's like very specifically done. They're not just randomly playing whatever's the best classical music.
They had to
Yeah.
scrape the fucking barrel
Classical
to find the
music.
Black composers. What the hell?
Right. They're like,
Like, this is a Black trans man Baroque music. You're like, right.
right. But like, what was it? I think it was Katie that sent me. I don't know who sent me this. But there is the producers behind like all these really ratchet hip hop artists the producers behind them are like these very well put together people who you're like, you don't listen to this music. There's no way you're not into this at all, you know? And they're like, oh no, but it represents the Black voice and all that. It's like, no, it doesn't. You know it
Oh,
doesn't.
it's like imagine you've seen Shark Tank,
Yeah.
right? The people who are like, like the sharks or whatever, like that's the people who are marketing that music. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. Like,
not
you know, when you said Shark Tank, I was thinking of the Will Smith movie, the See Just of what what's it called? A Fish's Tale or something like that? No, what's it called? The Will Smith movie.
I don't know. I know what you're talking about, but
I Am
didn't know
Legend.
Will
I'm
Smith.
just kidding.
No. Will Smith and Angelina Jolie are fish.
I
The
didn't know
fuck?
that was a thing.
What are you talking
That's-
Is this
about?
some AI stuff you're talking about?
What's it called, Christine?
Get my wife's spaghetti out your fucking mouth.
Get my wife's fish out the fucking Yeah. What was it called, Christine? Do you remember?
Anyways,
Anyway, all right.
that's an open loop.
That sounds yeah, damn.
So,
Yeah. All right.
but anyway, so he's making that point, right? You know who's behind the music, right? And then at the same time as well, it's like, okay, you're hearing this mantra, Shark Tale. That's what it was, Shark Tale. Okay, that was close. That was close. At the same time, you're getting this repetition in your mind over and over and over again. And just this morning, like for some reason, I was thinking of The Matrix. Oh, because you know what I was doing? I was pretending like I was making one of
You were
those
wearing
reels.
you were wearing your trench coat again.
Shut up, Mitchell. I was pretending like I was making one of those reels of like,
Pretending to make a reel.
yeah, you know, like not actually making it.
He's like
Yeah,
sitting
just
there
like-
with his eyes closed. He's like imagining.
No,
it.
no, I don't know what you mean. What
I
do you
was
mean
walking through the grocery
pretending?
store and thinking this would be a cool reel. That's what I mean, right? And I was like,
You have like your own TikTok in your mind.
yeah, exactly. It's but I make the TikToks in my mind. It's not like I'm watching the TikToks in my mind. I make them in my mind. Anyway, I was making this one that was like, we're self-perfectors. Of course, we've watched The Matrix 100 times, right? So that's what I was thinking, right? And then it made me think, I hear Christine laughing in the other room. It made me think of the meme that's like taking the red pill and the blue pill. Christine just sent me a text. She said she was thinking that too. But when you take the red pill and the blue pill, right? And like there's a meme where it's like, I took both, right?
Oh yeah, that was so funny.
But then for some reason that triggered in my mind a song, and it's a Drake song. And in this song, he's like, I am in the Matrix and I just took the blue pill. And I had never even looked at that lyric before, but I all of a sudden thought of that and I was like, oh shit, what's he programming? Like all these people who've watched The Matrix, or all these people who are, now starting to become aware, all these people who listen to Drake as well, because he's super popular, and they're like, yeah, I am in the Matrix and I just took the blue pill. Like unconsciously, the blue pill is you just go back into the Matrix. You don't want to look into things. You don't want to become aware. You don't want to like actually question things. You don't want to change anything. Right. And so I found that really fascinating, on top of the fact that like, okay, so those are like litanies in our minds. Those are petitions that are happening in our mind all the time. It's just like trying to get you to think a certain way, in the way of the system, as well as you hear commercials, and there's so many commercials. Like we were doing this on the Hangout, this past week, of just what's a commercial that is like, you hear the jingle, it's stuck in your mind. Like you haven't even watched that commercial in a long time, but you hear it in your mind, right? And there's so many, but that's like a constant petition in your mind. Come buy this thing. Come, yeah. And I liken it kind of to, green eggs and ham. Like, would you like it on a bus? Would you like it in a box? Would you like it with a fox? Would you like it in a tub? Like, and she's like, no, I do not want green eggs and ham. He's like, okay, but how about over here? But over there, and it's just like constantly just petition, and it's playing in your own mind where you don't even get the opportunity to go like, please turn that off. it's in your mind. Like you have to like now direct your mind to go, okay, no, I'm not going to continue allowing this thought to keep replaying over and over. And then, you know, what we were looking at, Mitch and I, was like, just like, wouldn't it be great if, number one, you didn't have those fucking petitions that are not best in playing in your mind constantly, that just happened because your parents didn't know any better. They weren't directing anything in your environment. And now you just got bombarded with that. But then also at the same time, if you did get, like, if you had your own petitions, like this litany of, or litany against fear, what if that was the petition that was going on in your mind all the time of just like, oh, I must not fear, you know, like, and so anytime that you experience this fear, automatically in your mind, it's like, no, but I must not fear. I'm going to let this fear pass through me, and I'm just going to keep pressing on, you know, and everything else that, you know, everything else that would be best, if that was your automatic programming, how different would your life be? How different would this world be? You know, if that was just like and that's what we're here to do, really, is reprogram ourselves as best as we can. And you got to look at it kind of like, there's consequences, there's damage that's been done. And some of it is irreparable to a certain extent. You know, if you cut off your penis because you thought you were transgender, that's irreparable. You can't just glue it back on. I'm sorry. Right.
Tried.
But what'd you say?
I've tried.
I've tried. But you can prevent that for the next generation. You can 100% prevent that for the next generation and support them,
and
you know,
'cause
to see like, hey, this is, I'm not, this is why we're so specific about, in our house, we don't just play any sort of music. Like the only music we're playing right now, especially, is music with no lyrics, you know? And whenever somebody comes over, we're very specific with like, hey, no, this is how you're going to act when you come into our home, and you're going to agree to that before you come in. And when you're here, we will be directing you. So if you like slip up and you make a mistake, like, because I know you don't know any better, so I'm going to make sure, you know, that, because we're very aware of this is what's happening, and this is what we want, we need to prepare the next generation with, right? So that they're not filled with bullshit, and so that they can be very effective in this world. Like, can you just imagine literally having the devil on your shoulder all the time, telling you to do the stupidest things, and you just don't, you're like not sure if it's the devil talking or not.
the devil's like, believe in God, abdicate your responsibility.
But the devil's just like telling you like all this shit all the fucking time, and you're constantly hearing this way. Like look at it from, you've seen schizophrenics, right? Don't you feel bad for schizophrenics? Because it's like they're
We've had some schizophrenics in the group.
Yeah, we've had that.
They didn't want to. They wanted to keep fucking.
But don't you feel bad for them? Because like you know that they're hearing this voice and they're struggling. They're struggling to discern, should I listen to this or not? Even if they know, like, no, I know it's not actually happening, but it actually, but it kind of is happening.
You can't feel sorry, because everyone is schizophrenic. You hear thoughts, and then you have to evaluate and say, is this thought aligned with my principles?
But that's the point.
So when you hear the fear, you have to say, like, is this fear best? Is this going to, like, if I participate in this, what am I going to create?
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, anything you're doing that's creative, you're going to go through a process of like wanting to give up, things being hard, things seeming to fall apart, starting over, learning, figuring it out. Like, you know, when I was working on that irrigation, I ran out of the tubing, like the soaker hose, because I only got so much from this guy. And like, he's like, yeah, they don't really sell this anymore. Right. Like, so I went to a bunch of different stores and I could not find anymore. I was like, what the fuck, man? It's like professional commercial grade soaker hose, right? And I was like going through that process of like regret, you know, like, oh, I shouldn't have used this. Maybe I should have set that up a different way, like all that stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to participate in it. Like, it comes up, but I'm not going to participate in it. I'm going to keep going. and I was just explaining to Katie, like, yeah, I don't know what to do next because I just explained to her. And then like 30 minutes later, I was doing something on the computer. She sends me a text. It was the exact hose that I need. And I was like, how did you get that? Because I had looked online, I couldn't find it. She was like, oh, I searched such and such. And I was like, this is perfect. And they even had all the connectors and everything. I'm like, what the hell, man? So
Wow.
if I had just given up and been like, why am I doing this? Like,
Yeah.
but that's
Well,
where
that's the power of the group right there, and especially the power of having relationship based on these principles. But also it's like I was reflecting on this as well, like that idea of spiraling, right? I find the word spirals very interesting because I mean that's a perfect example of it. You on your own doing the thing, doing the project, and you have that moment where you're like, fuck, and then you go into the regret and it could spiral. I mean, you're able to catch it, but how often do people go, oh fuck, and then they go spiral, and then they create shit consequence. However, though, the best definition of spiral here is when you have that agreement and you're also part of this group and you're working towards a common goal, like that becomes a spiral as well of like actually what you want, right? Because there's some times where it's fucking fun and it's like exhilarating, and there's other times you're like, fuck, is it progressing? But as a collective agreement, we can keep spiraling, let's say, upward to that next level, like a true evolution instead of just a revolution.
how about this? Inspire all.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I mean,
Breathe life or breathe into all.
Yeah.
Inspire. Yeah.
I mean that's literally what it is.
We
Yeah.
need, I know it's going to take everything to the next level. More shirts.
Yeah.
You need some more shirts, man. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
like
I
I
have
can't,
my list.
these are fading, man.
All
I
right.
got
All right.
10
all
of
right.
these. I got like 10 self-perfecteds. I got 10 TT ranch shirts, and that's all I wear, man. I'm like the Mark Zuckerberg of ranching.
Yeah. I have an ongoing note of this. So and it's actually pretty easy now. The technology's there. I just need a cool Canva design, which I can make. So
Yeah.
These shirts walking around
We
a
need
billboard.
we need the artists, okay? I'm announcing
Yes.
the contest. All
Yeah.
artists
Yeah.
apply.
Competition. All artists DM me the word artist, and then we'll see if you apply. And then if you apply, you have to then compete. But if you get the winning design, there's a shout out you get, and
Yes.
some potentially other benefits. But actually, like, how fucking cool is that? Because I mean, some of these shirts are great that we've had, like the spells one, so cool. So it has a story. There's like so much to it. So yeah, there's one. It's gonna be such a good one. It's gonna be the monkey, and then leading to the human, and then some. We need some artists to make this look
Easy,
cool.
man. Is this a real shirt?
What?
Is it really gonna happen?
This is going to happen. I just need the artist who can help me with this, because I looked it up the other week, and Canva is pretty fucking woke too. So fuck Canva, but yeah, I'm using it. Yeah, dude, don't get me started on Canva. I'm not gonna spiral on that. So monkey, right? To then the human. Everyone knows this fucking image, right? But then we need like something where then it's like it's basically talking about like homo, whatever the first one was.
Hold on. Here's what you need, though. It needs to start out like they're a god,
Yeah.
and then
Like kind of like an alligator looking god.
I don't know, but like it needs to start off like it needs to show like a devolution,
Yeah. Ooh.
and then like a rebuilding, like something.
Yeah.
And then it's
Yeah,
different.
and then the monkey, and then it could be going up to like upright human, and then like the human that's like a fucking sloth demon human.
There needs to
And
be like a
then
computer,
evolution.
and they're like going into a computer, and
Yeah,
then
and they're like holding the blue pill and the red pill, and then the little red pill says self-perfected, and then they eat it, and then it's the final form.
Ooh, okay.
And then
okay.
it looks like the smiley face, and then it looks like the smiley face on Cameron's shirt.
there's like two paths. There's like two paths, right? And one of them is like it's like a guy that turns into a woman. Or like it turns back into like some kind of god thing. You know what I mean?
What if it's like like which one's
It's
the
like a Y chromosome.
which one's the
Ooh.
Fork in the
Parthenon?
road.
Is the Parthenon Rome?
Parthenon is Greek.
Greek? Okay, all right, good. That one then, right? And then you have all like the Greek gods looking in there, and then one like falling from the, that thing, that
Hey,
Parthenon.
are you spoiling fall?
No,
I can't even tell if you are.
I'm not. I'm saying one falling from that, right? This is the de-evolution. Like, how are people supposed to know they're looking at gods, right? You got to have the Parthenon. Boom, symbolizes gods. Then one falling from the Parthenon and then turning into like a monkey thing or whatever.
This might be multiple shirts.
It's you gotta stand
like
in
a-
line with 3 other people wearing this shirt to get the story.
And there's pants too. So like you sit on someone's shoulders and like the pants is part of it, and it's like a whole roadmap.
Yeah, and then you can get a hat too and a
Hilarious.
gold chain.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah. Okay, so there's something. So if you're an artist, DM me on Facebook the word artist, and let's see what you got because we're gonna put you to the fucking test. If you pass the test, major props for a long time until the next round of shirts come out.
Is this a standardized test?
It's an SAT. You have to take an SAT.
Okay. All right.
Bottom line.
Beyond SAT. This is fucking.
You're gonna have to take the LSAT,
Creative test.
GRE, MCAT.
This is like a life review test, basically.
Oh,
gonna have you
geez.
assess your whole fucking life.
It's a little early for that, no?
No, you,
Yes, when
every,
you're on your deathbed,
every
call
day
us.
should be a life review. Okay, you ever listen to life reviews in Equaf?
Yeah.
And then you look at it. Some of those were the most life changing things I ever listened to in Equaf, like the one about the kid who died of hunger, and it was like he's literally just like, yeah, I was in pain all day, 12 hours a day, just laying there, just hoping someone
Wait,
would come.
so you're saying he didn't realize that he was just creating it to create contrast for all the other people?
Yeah, nope. That was
Uh-huh.
not in Equaf. No,
Weird.
that was all those Abraham meditations you're listening to.
Well, I'm not listening anymore, so
Yeah.
I didn't hear what I
And-
want to hear.
So with the life review, right? Like actually, for a moment, right? Imagine you just fucking died. You're in that death moment, that exact moment where you breathe your last breath. This is de-inspiring. And then you're fucking looking at your life, like total only self-honesty. What the fuck happens? Now, what if you lived every single moment with that? What if?
Inspire all or in spite hell. I can come up with these shirts all day, man.
Good. Cameron's
Okay.
that creative guy. Cameron's like the guy you just put in the creative room with the ping pong table. You're like, okay, come on, give us something good. He's like our advertiser. Like, what's that show, Mad Men? Cameron's just sitting there, like, pondering good ideas. all the
I'm Dick Dollars.
time.
I'm pretty sure that's a made up name. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure-
hey.
Keep cut.
Hey.
No, why you haven't watched Mad Men?
I watched the first episode and then I was like, okay, I can't watch this thing.
You got distracted by Game of Thrones.
Open loop
And
solar.
then he got distracted by
Open loop solar.
what was the other one? Godfather?
Oh yeah,
No, okay. Hey, I was
Self
gonna say-
Perfector. Of course, I've watched Century of Self 1,000 times.
Yeah.
you
Yo,
go.
that's so funny. That's so funny. And then
I'm a Self
control.
Perfector. Of course, I've restarted the blogs 30 times.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to everyone who's been through level 15 of TT as well. I have not been there yet. I'm on level 12.
Hey, you're
Fucking-
close.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
close.
Have you finished level 15, Drake?
Nowhere near it. Not at
What
all.
are you on?
Level 3.
Max is on level 7.
Damn
No, you're not, Drake.
it. No, I'm not.
Oh, I was gonna say, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm
That
on
would have
seven.
actually been appalling. You're
I'm
on
on the
what?
same level as Max.
Hey, did
After
you guys
7
see
years? You do
this-
one level a year?
Did you guys see this thing with this Chinese humanoid robotics company?
No.
And they got these like robots like running.
Oh my. Okay.
Running.
2 years ago, Cameron would have said this, and we'd all been like, "Okay, Cameron, really?" And now I hear it, I'm like,
But okay,
Also,
but
I see people share this meme, and it's like these Chinese kids playing some like
That
game
war
with
game?
rifles, and they're like, "Can you believe this?" And I'm like, have you heard of fucking airsoft and
It looks like fun, honestly.
paintball and like kids are playing Call of Duty? Like what? I mean, I'm not saying it's great, but like to act like, see, they're training soldiers. I'm like, what the fuck are you think is happening here? Like, are you kidding me?
It looks like a lot of fun. I would play that game.
And it seems very like they're making this
Yeah,
very artificial. It's being done on purpose to like put fear into people, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
great
so
tactic.
crazy though, so crazy. Okay, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, no, Chinese robots.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's called Unitree, I think. I think it's a Chinese.
Unitree.
I could be wrong. I think it's a Chinese company.
I'll look this up.
This sounds weird.
Like unit tree. No. How do you spell Unitree?
Let me
Okay.
look this real quick.
Is this gonna be
oh,
something
wait,
where Cameron is
Unit
saying,
tree, like a tree.
or are you like trying to impersonate a Chinese accent and it's actually Unit 3?
My
Okay, wait. I
It's not
found
loading.
it. I found it. I got it. All right. But this isn't this is not AI. This is like they programmed it and they're programming it to run, right? It's not autonomous.
yeah, but it's kind of irrelevant.
I'm just gonna show the video. I'm just gonna show the video so that Mitchell
This
can see
is
what I see.
crazy.
But yeah, actually, I don't know if it has AI
Crazy.
or not. I
I
don't
had
know.
these flashbacks to those robot movies where the robots are, like iRobot and all that.
I would
shit.
think it probably has AI. I don't
All
see
right,
who'd be
Mitchell.
making these without inputting.
Oh my goodness.
Like how it looks like a
Right.
security guard.
I'm gonna turn off.
Why would they
this
make a whole robot just to sit on a golf cart and stare at its phone?
Hilarious. And this is the actual speed of the video.
It looks like he's like about to fall backwards the whole time. Oh
They're
god.
playing some
Hey,
music.
TikTok influencers, you're done.
It is some gay K-pop. Like I don't even know what this is.
I
I don't know.
can't
I
listen to it.
thought China banned K-pop because it was feminizing people. Feminizing
Well,
called
clearly
Season.
not. They got these security robots
Dude,
dancing to
that
K-pop.
is-
Wow, that robot
Yeah,
can
I mean,
jump.
he even like catches himself.
Well, that guy doesn't
What?
have very good ups, so I'm not worried.
No, he
anymore.
did not have very good ups, but the robot did.
You guys
Maybe that's why they put him next to the robot because they're
don't
like,
talk shit about Jackie Chan.
Okay, imagine when they come up with like Yao Ming size.
Look, all you
robot.
people where your job is to take a basket off of a dog and put it over on this table over
You're
here.
done.
You're done.
You're done.
Look,
Oh,
all those people who
shit.
have to walk up these fucking MC Escher style like platforms and turn around because there was nowhere to go. Look, you're done. Look at those
Wow.
feet.
Yo, that's some shit right there. Spinning around. If you're not seeing the video,
Joe Biden, you don't have a job anymore, man. This thing can walk upstairs, up and down.
All right, I don't
Wow.
I don't know these characters. I don't know if
Have
this is
you-
actually Chinese.
Mitch, have you read Complete Robot? Or any of the Asimov robots?
I'm 3 chapters into iRobot. It's sitting on the floor over there.
Okay, that's fine.
Chapters.
I'm just checking. I know you have, Drake. Okay, there's a story about a guy who runs for I think it's president, something like that.
Oh, but you can't tell if he's a robot or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You told
it's
me
such
this, you
it's such
told
a
me
cool
this.
story, man. Like,
Yeah.
I love the way he writes that stuff
Wow.
because it's so it's like he's really he's not trying to make up a crazy story. He's trying to show you a realistic way of how something could happen and what the implications would be,
Yeah.
And it's crazy because
Yeah.
even in the story, you're like, so was the guy a robot or not? It's like you're
Right.
really not certain, right? And
Very
that's what's so
ambiguous.
crazy. Like you could eventually have a fucking robot that's like walking around and you won't know if it's real or not.
I mean, people think Joe Biden's real.
Yo, this is crazy.
Well, I don't remember what I was watching the other
Put that
day.
video back up. Put that video back up real
This is
quick.
so fucking crazy. Like, imagine in 20 years, like how old our kids are gonna be. They're gonna be freaking 21 or 25, whatever. It's like this will be normal for them. Game time. For all you guys in the group still watching porn and
Look, are
jacking
you telling
off,
me you
gotta
can
get
tell
ready
if
for
it's
this
a person
shit.
or not? Look at that.
Look at this dance.
Definitely some Gen Z.
Definitely, this thing is more coordinated than Joe Biden.
I mean, literally.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's literally just a matter of time till they get that good. So,
I love his hands.
look at his face. He's
Have
got
a
why is he
wiffle
got
ball.
why has he got an empty face?
So you can see through them. That's why. Look at that. What was the dog carrying? Was this some sort of back massager?
Imagine when they make other robots that are like emulating other animals. You know, 'cause they
Oh, but
got
see, now
dogs and
he has
humans.
hands. They gave him hands. They can, so you can just
Shit.
pop these things off and put hands on them.
Oh yeah, dude.
I think they were just like, yeah, we don't need hands right now to demonstrate he can walk,
Right.
but you can put hands on him.
Right.
Yeah. This is my my recommendations for
Okay,
YouTube.
dreams equals homeless deep mind. Dude, you got some whack fucking
Dreams equals
recommendations.
homeless. I've
Deep mind
been
did
looking
it.
at lots of videos of women.
This is the Asian guy I was telling you about, Mitch, the comedian guy.
Oh yeah.
He's probably saying his dad's like, you don't need dreams. If you have dreams, you'll be homeless.
You don't need home.
You need to be doctor.
Home equals dreamless.
Yeah.
So watching lots of videos of women who work in tech who are like not just getting laid off, they're like quitting because they're like when you work in tech, they're like you know like as a job, you have no life. They're like you're literally just working 24/7. So even when you're at home, like you have to be answering texts and all this stuff. And they were just it's interesting because they're like having these existential crises of like they're doing it for like 4 or 5 years. It's just like teachers, right? Where they do it for like 4 or 5 years and then they're or less, and then they're like, nah, I don't want to do this anymore.
I watched this video of a woman who she makes these like shorts that are like I find them amusing. She'll be like, oh, has this ever happened to you at an airport? It's like, oh, sorry, we bumped you from this flight. You got to go to a different flight or whatever. And she's like, watch this. She goes up to the counter. She's like, hi, I'd like to request accommodation and a free meal, and you're supposed to pay me because you bumped my flight. Like, oh no, we put you on a different flight. We don't have to pay you. She's like, not if it's over a certain amount of hours. That's what the bylaws say in the US Department of Transportation, blah, blah, blah. And like, oh, geez, how much do you want? She's like, well, it says I can get compensated $1,500 just for this many hours. So I want the $1,500. And they're like, oh man, where'd you learn this? And she's like, follow me to learn more. Right. Anyway, apparently she makes these videos because she's like, she used to be a lawyer. And she said, she used to be a lawyer. She like there's a video where she tells her story that she when she graduated law school, she immediately went to work for one of these mega corporations that just has like a whole like cast of lawyers that work for them. And she's like, this is like the dream job where because most lawyers, what ends up happening is you start off making like $30,000. I didn't know this. You start off making like $30,000 a year, like the average lawyer. And then you have to work your way up. And it usually takes like 5 to 10 years before you're making 6 figures, which is like, I didn't know that about lawyers. I thought, you just
That's
jump
insane.
And in the
you're
dough
making-
right away. They don't, yeah, you don't need no skills. Yeah.
So yeah, right. But she said she happened to like have an in. She got into this corporation. She was making over $250,000 a year. And she left that job because she realized like she's making $250,000 a year and she was feeling like, wow, I made it, like, and she's like feeling this like sort of like it almost feels like a dream, to come from her background. Like she's like obviously Hispanic or whatever. She's like, my family didn't make money like this. Like this was just amazing to have this opportunity. But there was a specific moment in her career that she was like, she knew at this moment, like, I have to leave this. I cannot stay here. And she said it was when her grandmother was dying and she went to go visit her grandmother. She asked for time to go visit her grandmother. And she's like, when you work for one of these corporations, it's literally like a badge of honor to say like, I pulled an all-nighter. You don't leave your job and then, you just get to hang out on the weekend. No, it's like you're working at home 24/7. And so, they expect that of you. And she's like, but I would never request like an extension or anything like that. Some people did that, but I would never do that. I wanted to show like, I'm a good worker. Like you guys want to keep me around. And she said when her grandmother was dying, she went to go visit her grandmother and she asked for, hey, let me just have some time off so I can visit my grandmother. And they're like, yeah, of course, we'll give you time off, but you're still going to work. Like you still have to like complete these things. So you can go over there. And so she said she went and she was staying at her grandmother's house, but wasn't able to go during the specific visiting hours to see her grandmother because she had to like be on some meeting or complete some project or something like that. And she was like, hey, I missed being able to, she messaged her boss, like, I missed being able to go see my actual grandmother. Like I'm here at her house, but she's in the hospital because I was doing all this work. I'm just asking for an extension. I know this needs to get done before a certain time, but can I just get like a few hours extension so I can go be with my grandmother in the hospital? And she said it was like these 10 words that her boss said that like she was on the phone with her and her boss was like, what do you think we pay you so much for? No, you cannot have an extension.
Obviously.
Right. And she was like, when she heard that, she was
No,
just
but
like,
I want to make all this money and I want to have this great
I want to
life.
be independent.
Also, I just want to fucking keep the system as is and like,
right.
because I got
so,
it made.
so she said she never got to see her grandmother. She's like literally right there in the same like city as her grandmother. She never got to see her before she died because they wouldn't give her the time or the extension for her to just go visit with her grandmother for a few hours before she died. And she's like, and literally the very next day, her grandmother died. Right. And so,
Damn.
yeah.
Life review, grandma. What did you miss, grandma?
Yeah. Grandma's like,
Like,
I
I
miss
wish
my
I was a
granddaughter.
lawyer.
My grandbaby was a lawyer and she didn't come visit me before I died.
Yeah, that is fucked.
It is. It is. But that's the reality of like, okay, so I mean, that's what the system wants anyway. That's what the system wants. And for everyone else, for us here, it's like,
And after 3 years, her job has fucking gone to AI anyway. So her promotions and all this fucking perks that she's building
Right.
up, gone.
right. But it's interesting because like, okay, that's what we're seeing in the tech field. That's what we're seeing in all of these jobs. It's funny because they're laying off a whole bunch of people. People are quitting.
Drake. Wow, Drake. You said it's funny that they're laying off people.
Well, that's not the funny part. Let me get to the funny part. Jeez, Mitchell. See, this is your problem. Right? This is why you have all these unfinished things because you're like, I see where this is going. I'm done. I'm out of here. Ha! Wow, you thought that was funny? No. But they're laying off all these people. People are quitting, rage quitting because they're realizing that.
Isn't that a
You
term
know,
from video games?
Yeah, I think so. But it's like, but people use it for like working in an office too.
Oh, makes sense.
Age quitting.
Yeah. But they're like getting out of these jobs, and at the same time, it's like they're also using this AI to make a lot of jobs obsolete. And so the people that are going to have these jobs, what do you think they're going to have to do? Like, I saw this one analysis of how quickly AI is moving, which, by the way, did you know that Elon Musk is accusing OpenAI of having AGI? Like, Elon Musk apparently is, I don't know if he's suing or somehow he's tied up OpenAI in the courts. There's some litigation going on. And he's accusing them of having AGI or generalized intelligence within OpenAI, and they just haven't released it yet.
Well,
anyway, and he's like, then that's not fair.
Yeah. I wonder if he's got any reason to do that.
Right.
Like, I want to have it first.
Right. But the point being that I saw this analysis that was saying like for those people that will be able to work, you're going to have to be super adaptable because you're going to start doing a job or whatever, then AI will be able to do that job within like a few months or even
I love this
faster.
thing where people go like, AI is not going to replace people's jobs. It's going to be people, or no, somebody using AI will like some AI is not going to replace you. A person using AI will.
That's the same fucking thing.
Like,
Like
A
one of those.
tractor is
so-
not going to
so
replace
one
you.
person can become more productive,
Yeah.
but that's not going to replace jobs. Like, what do you think we mean by it's going to replace jobs? Like, you think just a robot's going to walk in the door and you're going to get replaced, or is it you're going to have one person who can do the job of 5 people,
Right.
and they're just not going to hire more people anymore? Like,
Right.
it's not that hard to figure out.
And somebody was in one of these analysis, they were saying if you look at an example like Tyler Perry is no longer going to build his $800 million studio, like how many people was that going to, just the building of that, how many people was that going to employ, you know? And then everything that he would do with that studio, but that's not going to be seen as on paper job losses.
Right.
But that's so many opportunities that are
Jobs
lost
that
now.
were just not going to happen. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like there's such a bigger level that we're going to. I mean, just when you were saying this a moment ago, Drake, about, or whoever said about the AGI, Elon Musk, and like the tying them up in courts. Like there's a whole other level to this game that we need to prepare ourselves for, because it's so fascinating how this group kind of assembles a lot of the people who have been like dejected by society, or like, you know, just shit's kind of happened. So you're like actually questioning the system. And then you're like, oh, it actually makes sense. Like self-perfected. Like we have to change ourselves. We have to change the system. So right now it's like we have this whole group of people that are, I mean, many people are making really substantial progress. It's awesome to see. Like there's new kids being born, everything. Like shout out Austin and Giselle. And it's cool to see that. But it's really just begun. Like it's really just begun, because there's such a higher level to get to as we look at getting clubhouses in every city, as we look at supporting millions of families, you know, but also too, what's cool is like as we all keep getting the compound effect of all the process that we're doing and everyone's leveling up too, we get way stronger and new doors open up and new people join with different skill sets. And it's like the perfect fucking test for all of us. But there is a lot to prepare for. You know, if you're sitting on the sidelines, what the fuck are you doing? You know, at some point you're going to get kicked off the sidelines, and you're either going to lose your job or something horrible is going to happen, or you're going to go, okay, let me fucking step on the field. Yeah. So it's like, just step on it and don't get off. It's not that hard.
Bro, if you don't step on the field, then you're not even in the game. Like
You're like
you know?
you're like Drake, not our Drake, the other Drake who took the fucking blue pill.
I just took the blue pill.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you watch, or sorry, Drake, because I know I didn't send this to everybody. Did you watch that video of that British guy breaking down the
Yeah, I did.
flapping
The
and all
glottal
that stuff?
stops,
What?
dropping the T's.
Can you explain a little bit of context
I
for
could
me?
not. I could not.
Is it because you can't do a British accent?
No, it's not because of that. I can do a British accent. Would you like to hear my British accent?
Oh,
No. Later.
I want to hear it.
Openly.
Okay,
Oh,
check this out. Okay,
Imitate
so
Ola. Imitate Ola sometime.
Imitate Ola. No, I can't actually do Ola's accent because Ola's Black British, and they have a different British accent.
Well, you're black. Can't you do a British accent?
I can't do that
not
British
black.
accent.
Drake is not black.
I'm not black. Exactly.
not
Thank
black.
you. Jeez. Cameron has been listening all these podcasts.
Are you just
What have you been
Dominican?
doing?
He's brainwashed me. He's just a dark Mexican.
Wow.
Mitchell's like, you're just Dominican. Mitchell did not listen at all.
Just Dominican.
Jeez. Somebody was
No.
telling me, Abel was telling me about like people now have been putting in like comments on things. They'll be like, oh, you know how the Dominicans run all the banks, or the Dominicans run the media system, like on purpose. I see Cam gets it. Mitch is like, what?
I don't get it.
Okay,
Who
so
runs the banks, Mitchell?
women.
Who runs the media?
What
Mitchell?
Beyonce said. Women run the world.
Yeah, that's what Beyonce said.
I don't understand. If they run the world, then how is patriarchy a problem? Be consistent.
Actually, Beyonce did not say women run the world. She said girls.
Oh, sorry. It's literally girls.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Okay. So but I brought up this point because we were talking about, getting on the field and all that, and like realizing that children are being dumbed down. They're being dumbed down by media, by parents, and then the education system is so fucked. Like it's crazy. What?
Wait, before you get into the phonics thing, because I just
Okay.
thought of like a really good analogy for this. Of like, you know how you're saying like on the field and dumbed down. It's like, imagine you're planning to raise a football player, but then you bind their feet, right?
So they
And you're
become
like,
a Chinese woman?
exactly like a Chinese woman, exactly like that.
Okay,
Right?
are you talking about football, like American football, like the
It
entertainment
doesn't even
company?
fucking matter.
What are you
Doesn't
talking about?
fucking matter. They're
And
gonna be
then-
running on a field, and you
No, they're
bound
going to
their
be
feet.
playing war games with their iPhones on the streets of Xingzhou with their little bound feet. They're going to be going up and down stairs,
Yeah,
up and down stairs, carrying baskets.
Mitchell, have you seen like Chinese
Foot
women?
binding?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I've never
Okay.
seen it with my real eyes, but I heard about it.
No, I've never seen it with my real eyes either.
Dude, how do
I've
we
seen it
not
with my
know
fake
this is a
eyes.
fucking conspiracy?
I don't think it's a conspiracy.
What is
Or
your
maybe it
intuition
is. I
tell
don't
you?
know. But they have little shoes. They're like little baby shoes.
Yeah, I know. It's really fucked. I was like, why do you whatever.
So okay, but it would be like, imagine, and you've seen these people, they can barely walk, right? They definitely can't run far, and that's part of the appeal, right? Like, okay, imagine you're doing that to your child and then expecting them to go play football. You know?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, but that's how all the other kids are playing.
Yeah.
What?
It's like my children need to be able to think critically and have a high vocabulary with science and math and engineering and be able to be adaptable. So I'm going to put them in school so they don't learn fucking shit and they just become fucking bored and apathetic and competitive for grades and not really care about if they understand stuff, not have any actual skills they can apply. So that's what I'm doing about this. Yeah, but okay, but I've been getting all these things on Instagram and Katie sends me stuff of like these teachers trying to teach like phonics and all this stuff. Because again, just reiterating it for everybody, now whole language is out. Cholesterol's bad again. Okay, so now it's high cholesterol. You gotta have lots of cholesterol, not low cholesterol, because scientists realized it was the opposite of what we thought. So it's not whole language, it's phonics again. Now you gotta do phonics, right? And so you got these teachers teaching phonics, and even within that, you have subcultures where you have like, okay, we're teaching letter sounds, but it's not.
But we're doing it through trap music. The other one's doing it like through like classical music.
There's all these people like, oh, you got to be careful. It's not buh. You don't say buh. It's b. It's just the b sound. It's not buh. It's b. And so there's the wrong ways of teaching phonics, right? Okay, so I found this video, or it was recommended to me. This British guy talking about what was the word he was
dropping
initially
T's.
tea dropping?
Tea dropping, that's it.
And I'm trying to remember what the example of tea dropping is.
I'll give
It's
an
like,
example.
it's like if I say like,
Wait, I'll give an example for Mitchell
Okay.
so that he knows. When your balls drop,
no,
that's like tea dropping because your testosterone. Wait, no, your testosterone goes up then. Wait, no, that's not it. Okay, when you get low T, right?
No, I can't relate to that.
And then like you have to go and inject yourself, right? At the gym, behind the dumpster, right? That's tea dropping. You drop some tea so you can get stronger. That's it, right? Right,
then
Cam?
they're not. The problem is not low T. The problem is low TT.
Oh,
I like it.
Okay, but
Yeah.
tea dropping is, we do it in American English. We say like right instead of saying right, we say right.
Mhm.
because I'm not really saying the T, right?
Is it just T's at the end of the word, or is it all T's?
Not necessarily. It's just an example, right? And then
Okay, so like in British, if they were to say better, they'd say better.
Yeah, they
for one
do.
example, right?
That's an
But that's
example of
actually
how
not T dropping. It's when you don't say the T. So that was an example of what we call T flapping. Is what he called it.
No,
So you're not really saying a
that
T.
T flapping is like better, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I
But
said
no,
it.
he was saying better,
Right,
like
but better was an example of
better.
T flapping.
better. Like not. I'm not connecting my tongue to the roof of my mouth. Better.
Right.
So
But
that's T
that's not
dropping.
an example of T dropping when we say better. That's
Okay,
called
you gotta give me more examples of T dropping.
T dropping is like right,
This is an open loop.
right.
Okay, give me a different one.
Nuh-uh.
What?
Fat.
Nuh-uh. Right? Like when you say nuh-uh, nuh-uh. I'm not
What-
actually
what's the
like saying
T or-
not.
Not
Yeah, like
I thought nuh was no way.
yeah, exactly.
It's
Nuh-uh.
just when you're not pronouncing the T. So like
But, like,
anything that ends in a T, right? But it's not always in every case, right? But then there's something called T flapping, what we do in America when we say like city,
Mhm.
right? Instead of city, we say city,
Oh,
right?
the D sound.
itty
And
bitty.
then he was talking about something called heart attack, hard HARD, hard attack. Not talking about any COVID, nothing else. Okay. Where we, for example, like, okay, important, right? But they would say like important, right? So they'll put heart attack, or the example he gave was like in the words, it's not even with T's.
It's a lot of like
What was
vowel
that phrase
words.
he gave? Like he used the example of German, like if you were using a German accent.
Yeah. So
I
heart attack is kind of I think it's hard for me. I don't think I
hold on.
do
What was? Do you remember that phrase he said? I always something. I don't remember what the phrase what he used.
I don't know, but it was a lot of vowel sounds. And it's the heart attack is before the vowel sound, before the word itself.
I'll just make up a word. Like I always appear around midnight. Okay, but like versus I always appear around midnight. It's where you're like putting emphasis on each beginning of each word. I always appear versus I always appear.
Yeah.
You imagine like a German person be like, I always appear, like they would, it's called a heart
Yeah.
attack, right? So you're like putting right? And he was showing these examples about how younger people in Britain are now putting the hard attack back onto words, right? So I was looking for myself. I'm like, I would say I always appear. I wouldn't be like, I always appear. I would say I always appear. It was like kind of they flow into each other, right? Just depends on the context, right? So I'm bringing it up because I was just looking at how much more complex the way we speak is than just being able to learn phonics. Because how do you pronounce the word always? See, if I say always, but when I'm saying it in a sentence like I didn't say I always. Do you see what I mean? Even that subtle little difference in terms of the way you're pronouncing.
Right. Like one is you're more serious. You're like, I always do this versus I always. It's like one is like more.
It just depends,
more
like what words come before it, after it, and your accent. And I was looking at the word, for example, city. It's not city, right? I mean, some people might pronounce it that way, but is it a T or a D?
I will go to the city today.
So imagine you have a
Oh,
teacher who speaks
like
like
the
me, and they're like city, and it's like T is t. Okay, what's this word? And they're like, I don't know, like CITY. Like I don't know, city. It's city, but where's the T?
Yeah.
Like there's no t. And so trying to then break everything down into phonics, even with the letter sounds themselves,
Dude, it's like you're trying to build a. It's like you're trying to build a fucking skyscraper, and all you have is like not even Legos. You have like Duplos, like the extra like shitty ones.
those mega blocks, which never stay together after like you put 5 of them together.
And you're like supposed to make a whole city out of this, and you only got fucking mega blocks.
You're trying to make a skyscraper, and you literally have a mound of dirt. It doesn't work. You're trying to construct the child's ability to process information. And again, I was looking at our kids, like they didn't learn any of that shit. It's like you just directly, and the whole point of it is to be able to get to the point where you just automatically know it. But I was talking with the kids, and I was explaining to them a word is a sound, right? Because Seneca was talking to me about does letters have sounds? And I was like, no, words have sounds. I mean, you can say a letter has a sound, but does it always have that sound?
No.
It doesn't always have that sound, and in many cases it may not have any sound, or it's a sound that's different than it should be, or
Here's a good one.
there's no point to learn it that way.
like
If the
B.
whole goal is to get it to the point where you just can recognize and use words automatically,
Yeah.
as I'm talking, I'm not breaking down any of these words into sounds. It's just automatic. So if you can get to that point and you can skip all of the confusion, and then you have to put all these kids into it's like the phonics thing, if you think about it from a system perspective, is to make it so complex that there's no way a parent can do it. And so you have to keep your kids in school.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So that way they can trans them up.
Transform. It's funny that you say that, like, letters don't have sounds, because
By the way, if you think you can go out to live in the country and escape all this, Katie, can you tell them this, what happened the other day
What?
when you were at the coffee shop?
Oh.
hey, Katie.
Hi guys. We live in a small town, right? Like not a lot of people here. And I went into our local coffee shop, and there was a man and woman standing in front of me, ordering some coffee, and like looked totally normal, right? Like small town type of people. And the woman was like, you know, kind of dressing like me, like, well, a little bit more feminine, right? Like dressed up, and turned around and had a full beard.
Like a full
beard, and it was a man, and it was like, but dressed as not like in drag, but just as if it was a woman, but with a full beard, not pretending to be like,
not putting makeup and trying to look like a woman's
right,
face.
but like dressed fully like a woman, but with a full beard. And it was almost like everyone was just supposed to pretend that wasn't fucking weird.
Did you say something?
No, I didn't say anything. Like, but it was just like,
So like, hey, you're gonna shave your fucking face, or what is this?
Like,
Why would you expect a woman to say something?
it was just so surreal, because it was like we're supposed to pretend that that's a woman, and it's just not, and it's not even trying to like be feminine or fake any of that. It's just full bearded, you know. I don't know. It was surreal. Anyways, that's weird.
So
that's got liver.
Okay. It's got what?
I was just
Oh,
curious
liver.
if she said something, because I thought
Said
maybe the
liver.
rules in the country might be a little different, you know?
Yeah, try that in a small town. It's like, oh, they're trying it. No one's doing
They're
it.
trying it.
They're doing it.
They're doing it.
Man.
The point of like the letters not having sounds, that I just want to say real quick, because it's really, you're right. Like you might go, but what about the letter B? You know, that has a sound, it's buh. And like, okay, but what about B and dumb?
Yeah.
Where's that sound?
See, but that's when you have the morpheme of the it's a short vowel digraph U with and you're like, dude, like it's some fucking quantum.
I didn't need to learn
level
that
shit.
in order to learn.
I know. It's like if you just. But here's the other thing too. I was looking at this point just to help people understand what we're saying. When you look at a bird, when you see a bird, you know that's a bird, right? And you can say bird. In fact, kids can do that before they learn to read, right?
Yeah.
They see a bird and they go bird. So can they see an object and know that that sound is representing that object?
Yeah.
So the idea that you have to you don't look at it and go, okay, wings, beak, like that's not what a kid does. They just see it and they recognize, because they've been impulsed that this object and this sound go together.
Right.
So within them is that sound representing that image. It's the same thing with reading. And the fact the best readers, that's how they read. They just recognize these words, and they try to do these tricks where they're like, oh, but if you switch some of the letters on the inside, you can still read it fluently. Not exactly, because then you're still relying on some predictive abilities that you have, because you will stumble and you will slow down. You will not read it as fluently. So that's just a trick. That's bullshit. Right? Because try doing that with something try doing that with vocabulary you don't have. Try doing that with something that's technical, and like try doing that with a bunch of just a string of words where they have the same first and last letter, but the insides are mixed up. Like it's not going to work the same way.
Yeah.
You're trying to guess like which word is which. Like it's just not going to work. Right. So, anyways, I just thought that was really interesting, because I keep seeing all these examples of in our language where your phonics is going to get you to a certain point where you can kind of sound out and sound like you're able to read, but it will not produce the level of reading like that our 5-year-old has. Like, no,
So
there-
interesting too. Well, it's in episode 1 of Your Wish Is Your Command. It's literally in there, but no one hears
I
it.
like how you call it episode 1.
Yeah, right.
Is that what it's called?
The Empire Strikes Back.
The first one's actually episode 7. Yeah.
Whatever that thing is. That first one, right? Not the one where you can hear the phone in the background. Not the one where you hear the police siren go past. All right. You know, those you have listened. But like literally right away, Kevin explains like, yeah, we're not taught how to read. And now we are taught how to read. So cool having TT. And also, I was thinking about this yesterday too. We were at this like little kind of birthday get together for one of the women who in the community she's very active. Shout out to Nay. She's on all the hangouts, everything, comes to every meetup in Clubhouse. And her daughter Bella just turned, I think, 10. And so we were at the roller rink for a little bit. It was so cool to see that because Bella was there, Aristotle was there, Milo was there, all these kids now starting to come together. And it's like, wow. And these kids are going through their TT basically every single day. Like, it's like you can see it with the depth of vision of what that's turning into. It just takes fucking time to make it happen.
Well, I think people tend to get, and we live in a society, don't we? No, but like with TikTok and all these different things, like trends happen, and it's like the next thing, and the next fashion, and the next type of music, and the next movies, and all these things. People think that that's what life is, and life is very repetitive, actually. I mean, it doesn't mean that there can't be different, like things happening and excitement and all that. It's just right now you're going to get that from the system primarily because that's the system that exists. So it's going to produce all that novelty. And people think like, well, if it's not constantly novel and new and interesting, then I don't want to do it. But how do you build a movement? How do you build a group? You have to do repetitive things. Sometimes you have to say the same things over and over and over, and you just keep doing it. And it might seem like, but I already said this before, and I already told this one person. Yeah, but now you're telling someone different, and now you're talking to someone new, and you can't participate in this point of, well, I'm getting bored with it, and it's not fast enough.
Yeah.
It's like,
or getting frustrated with it too, of like, like I told this person on, let's say, listen to the podcast. And then they listen for a little bit, whatever, and then they fall off. It's like, okay, you have to sell them again, again.
Yeah. And people have to walk through points where they now see the value or the reason why to do something. They have to fail sometimes.
Right.
That is part of it because the way that because at a certain level where it's not that you can't be persuaded, but you can't be persuaded into consistency. You can be persuaded into starting. You can be persuaded into seeing the point, but the person has to realize for themselves. They're not going to realize for themselves on their own without someone saying initially, like, here's why you should do this. But they have to get to a point where they're doing it for themselves. And so part of the persuasion is around that. And that's why we have systems and a podcast and meetings and events and things like that, is so that there are those points to constantly impulse as to why. But we can't become frustrated that, people are doing it and then not doing it. And then, no, they're doing it again later, and they're like constantly falling off and so forth. It's like, that's just because the system is not fully there yet. Because why does everybody put their kid in school year after year after year, and they don't go, well, I did that for a year and that was boring. And like, why did they go to their jobs year after year after year? Oh, I did that for a year. That was boring. They do Christmas every year. Well, I did that 5 times. I'm not going to do it again, because like it's the system is impulsing it over and over, and all the frames of reference are there.
Yeah.
So those frames of reference don't get created suddenly just because you felt excited and you got hyped up. That's the issue, is people are looking for the energy and the excitement when that's not going to be there. You have to create those points.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is why we have events year after year after year, and why we like twice a year, right? Because first off, it's fun. Like, we have so much fun. I mean,
well, and to another point that I think I didn't understand this as a kid, like the actual value of like a vacation. Like, I would go on vacations as a kid. I don't know, once a year, my parents would take us somewhere.
People think it's a luxury.
Right, but
It's not a luxury.
it's actually a necessity. Like you need that because your body is getting abused every fucking day by this world and by yourself, really.
Hmm.
And your body's not gonna like. I love how Avery's had to tell me this fucking 50 times. Your body's not gonna work just to work. Like the body needs some sort of release or reward. And I mean that in a very like. There's a lot of context to that. But yeah, when you go, like for example, last weekend, right? For a day, we went to this water park, and I had like 4 hours like floating in this lazy river with Aristotle. It
Wait,
was
wait,
so
wait, Mitchell.
yeah,
Where was this water park?
30 minutes away. It's
In
indoor.
Minnesota?
Indoor fucking water park. Do you not
Oh,
have these?
indoor. Okay, all right, all right. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't fucking believe you.
No, yes, no, we have indoor water parks here. Well, there's one. And but it was like there was about 4 hours there where I was just totally in the moment, just like floating in this lazy river. We literally did like 20 laps with Aristotle. It was just so much fun right there. But I could tell I like once a quarter, I like having something like that to kind of unplug, so to speak, and then go back into it because I'm pushing myself very hard. But that's why we do the event, and we will get to the point where we have 4 fucking self-perfected events per year, right? That will be at when we're ready for it. But right now it's the summer event. So, but that part about the vacation is like you need it. You know, if especially if people have that thought of like, oh well, do I really need it? Do I need to be there? It's like, one, you're probably not fucking even like really trying. Because when you push yourself, you face a lot of rejection and resistance, and it's hard and all that. And then it's like you need that plug-in to then keep shifting and
Well,
like upgrading.
when you make the decision, you'll make it happen. It's just the problem is people don't want to make the decision because they immediately face that feeling of like, now I have to do things that are uncomfortable and so forth. So they're projecting that. And so they don't want to make the decision. But when you make the decision, you'll make it happen. It's everyone knows when you want something and you make a decision, you get it. It's just, you don't, that's why the dream building is so important because you don't really want actually things outside of what you have. So you might say, well, I want this and that. It's like, you don't really want it. You haven't really made a decision. You're going to do it. Right. Just like with what we're talking about with this group, the decision is we're going to change the system. You can't go, well, all these things are going to come up, so I'm not going to do it. People will just, they'll go into all these excuses of, well, I've got religion or this or that, or my beliefs, or they have those ideas because they don't want to just make the decision and then do whatever it takes. But going to the event is not really that big of a thing. And if it stretches you, isn't that a good thing? If you're thinking, well, I'm just going to keep my head down and I can't afford it this year and I'll do it another time. It's like, what's going to physically change in your life? And by making the decision and stretching yourself and making it happen, it will support you to grow because then you have your process, you have your technotutor, you can use it to support you within all of that. And I've been there many times in the past where it's like, oh, it's going to be really hard to do. And I don't know if I can do it, but it was always a good decision to go. Like back when we were doing gin or any events that we did, it was always important to just show up and go. And the interesting thing is you might even be that person that's a catalyst for somebody else. And that alone will be worth it for you because you'll have to be there and step up and express yourself. Right. And there's lots of people that have that experience where they went and the one thing was they had a conversation with one other person and that person decided to show up, not knowing that they were going to support somebody else. Right. So
it's part of the fun of it too.
Where it's like, I need to do this. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And that's part of the fun of it too, is you never know exactly how it's going to unfold. You have a general understanding of, okay, it's going to be awesome environment, awesome, swim in the ocean, have fun, learn a lot. But then there's the whole like random chaos to it, which is so much fun because you never know exactly what's going to happen from it. You just
and this one's at the Ritz-Carlton in Miami or Key Biscayne, whatever, right? And even for some people, it's like you've maybe never experienced something like that. It will support you to change a lot of points just going and being there. And I mean, also like you guys were able to negotiate a really good rate. So you're never going to get to go to the Ritz-Carlton for that rate, of a room and all that stuff. So it's a really good deal from that perspective, but being able to be there in that environment and then being around a bunch of other people, it's like, yeah, maybe you could plan it and you do like a vacation one year and you go stay at the Ritz-Carlton. Or you can do it in this context where you're around a bunch of other people who are like using this environment and supporting each other and saying like, how can we all level up and within ourselves and then the group and everything. So it's a whole environment and atmosphere that you're going into. in addition to you have a vacation and you go to get to experience a Ritz-Carlton and it's on an island, I think, right? And all that kind of stuff, right? So it's the perfect combination of vacation and then your process and making a difference and all those points that people are looking for, put it all together in one thing.
Yeah, yeah. And the value too of getting people to come with you. Like I remember last year we brought a decent sized crew from Minnesota. This year it'll be bigger. It's like, it's just so cool because now different people in the community who had never met other people in the community now have, you know, that relationship. And it's like, man, this is like really cool to see. What were you gonna say, Drake?
No, it's just looking at that point of like, I mean, why would you want to miss out on being around all the people who are like you? You know, it's like, you know, when you go to a concert, do you want to go to a concert with a bunch of people who don't know the fucking songs? You know, it's like your favorite artists, right?
EDM
Mm.
concert, but it's a bunch of people like who are into metal.
Right, exactly. Like you don't like you're like are you show up, you're like, yeah, I'll make it out to that concert ground on one day. I just want to go see Madison Square Garden. Like you go there on a day where it's like they're doing the Pride Parade or whatever. And you're like,
Like there's no one there, and it's
yeah,
just
right.
like looking at it like cool. Yeah. Do you ever see those people like you? Okay, you see, because we go to all these events, right? And then you
Yeah.
see like some random person there who's just by themselves, or maybe it's their family or whatever, and they're just kind of sitting there like, you know, on their phone or reading their book by the pool all day. Like
Right.
what are they accomplishing with this vacation other than
Right.
just relaxing? Which you go back and you're like, yeah, okay, back to work. You know, like this is a whole different fucking level of vacationing.
Yes, yes, exactly. It just reminded me of like I went one time to the NASCAR racetrack over here in Daytona, the Daytona 500, where that takes place. I went there one time. It was not during the Daytona 500, you know, and so like we toured the whole thing. It's a cool facility, sure, right? But it's like I'm sure when they're having the Daytona 500, like that shit is crazy, you know? Like literally, I like they were explaining while I'm there, like, yeah, this whole section right here that we're standing in, it shakes the entire time. You feel like you're like in an earthquake when the cars drive by. Like it, and then you're here and people are just going crazy. And I'm like, man, I want to see that. Like what am I here doing? You know, just taking the tour for? I want to see that, you know?
They're like, okay, now imagine you're having an exciting time. Imagine this is fun. You're like,
Right.
but just how most people's vacations, like you go and you're like, I mean, you're in a nice location.
Yeah,
That's
it's fun for the
cool.
first 2 days, maybe eat some new food, and then you're like, I feel like shit.
And
Fuck,
they
has
just
to go
talk
back to
about
work.
you have to go home soon. And like you're not really getting anything out of it. And like it's so interesting because we go to these events and it's like a combination of it's over very quickly, but also you're getting a lot in there. So you feel like you're there for a long time at the same time.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're sitting around with people, you're having these conversations. Like who goes on vacation and then stays up till 4 a.m. having really deep conversations, having fun,
Yeah.
like playing games? Like you can't even experience all the things at this event that you can't experience in a normal vacation, all the things you can at these events.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like imagine even going to a party like when you're in high school. What do? You just stand around and drink and try to hook up with people. You're not
Right.
actually doing anything fun.
Yeah.
But imagine going to a party and like the whole time you're having a really great time, like not just some bullshit you think you are. And what do most people do on vacation? They go, they sit by the pool and they drink margaritas and they just feel a little bit drunk and basically just bored the whole time. This is the
Yeah.
total freaking opposite of that.
And you know what's
It's
really
such a cool experience. Mitch literally froze. Just like I can't. He's like transported to a time and
he
place.
couldn't handle it. Mitch is like, I gotta go right now. I gotta go.
Mitch,
I
how was
thought you
how
guys
was it, man?
froze.
How was the event that you just held just now in that time?
I thought you guys froze. I was like, how the
Remember
fuck
that
you
one
both freeze?
podcast when Mitch was like, you know, if he could just stop time, that would be his superpower. Like, he was
Oh
practicing.
yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was making this point, Mitch. I don't know if you heard it about like people go on vacation and they just sit there and they just like drink margaritas. You know what I mean? And like they just like feel a little bit drunk, or like you go to a party and you're just like talking to people and you kind of just feel like whatever,
Yeah.
and there's music and you're just drinking, and like how you're not really actually having a good time versus like
Considering
you get everybody down here and we're like playing games in the house or like at the events, like on the beach, like playing like, I don't even freaking know, zombie tag and all these different things.
Consider this point too. Like, I don't know about anybody else, but I know for myself. I know for actually a lot of people that come to these events. Like when I go to this event, or I'll express this point first. Vacations are not the same that they used to be, actually, right? And what I mean by that is, you know, if you hear about or you read about like Andrew Carnegie taking a vacation, he would go on a vacation and he'd be like, don't contact me. Right. And he would go off and be in Scotland for months or whatever, and then come back and maybe have some like new ideas for his business. Right. But that can only happen if you actually have time to rest. Right. And so on a vacation, what happens, this is actually the reason why I know a lot of people don't like cruise ships, but I actually enjoy cruise ships because you can't fucking contact me. I can't get on my phone. You can't contact me.
Dude,
I have to
self-perfected
be
cruises. Holy shit. One day.
self-perfected cruises. Yeah.
I'm putting
yeah,
that
yeah.
through my T2.
Down the line, right? But like you can't contact anybody. You can't get on the internet unless you pay like some crazy fee for it, right? And so that means you actually have to be here in the moment, right? But what's really cool is, you know, when okay, so today people go on these vacations and what do they have with them? They have their fucking phone, right? They're drinking, they're distracting themselves. They're not actually taking a vacation. They're just in a different location doing the same fucking shit. But whenever I even go visit you, Cam, like I'm not on my phone. And if I am, it's funny because Max will call me out. Max will be like, "What are you doing?" Like I remember one time when you guys are still living in Houston, Max was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm playing chess." And he's like, "Can I play it?" I'm like, "How about we just do something first?" And I'm like, not because there's anything bad with playing chess, but like I realized like, no, I actually want to be here with you, you know? And so it's really cool because in San Diego, at the ranch, like all these events that we do, like I'm here. I want to be with the people around me. I don't really care. I barely even touch my phone except for to find out where is everybody, you know, so I can be there, right? And so it's really cool because these sort of vacations, these events, you really get immersed into it. You really are changing your patterns. You really are doing something different. If you find yourself at home on your phone or on your computer all day long, you know, and you're like, when you go on a vacation, you just do the same thing. You're not changing your patterns actually.
Remember that Mexican woman who like couldn't see her grandma? Right.
Remember like 30 minutes
Like
ago?
that lawyer, right?
Yeah.
So you're in your environment, and literally your environment is this mega corporation, and you actually being able to relax and think about your life and who you are and what you want to do and what you want to build is your grandma that's dying.
Yeah. Wow.
And literally every day you're sitting there, it's your grandma's just dying, and you never even get to like get in touch with it. So
And you go into a different
Damn.
city, you fly over to see her.
yeah,
never...
but you can't detach because there's nothing supporting that. It's like your big mega corporation still like talking to you, and it's like you got your phone and all that stuff. So the self-perfected is like this like it's like this like warrior that's just like slapping your boss, you know, like every time they try to get in touch with you, like shut up, right? So it's an environment that you can plug into and really actually get a moment to really look at life and what you want to do with it and what's your purpose and everything, and kind of reset things.
And the coolest part too is you then take that with you, and it's like you get fucking force fed red pills until you're just like, fuck, okay, I took the red pill. But then you have so many red pills, then you go back into your reality, your day to day, in whatever city you live in or wherever you live. And now it's like you can't help but then start to bring that to other people around you. And that is really fucking cool. Because then you start to think of all the collective, it's like the collective legacy we're creating. And it's like patience is so important. Or as I would call it, like patient urgency. You're patient in that you realize it's taking years, decades really to build this thing. But you also have urgency in the moment where when you see you need to act, you act. And that combination is like fucking, that's perfection right there.
Cool.
Nice.
What else?
Very
Any of
cool.
that, guys?
I think that sums it up for this week.
All right. Hey, for all the guys, Self Leaders Club Evolution. All right. So reach out, and if you don't know what that is, reach out to me or Drake, and we will tell you all about it.
All right.
Let's go.
Bye.
Next
Bye.
time.